Good morning and happy Vlogmas Day 21. It is the 20th of December, which means I don't have to work out of the house until the 8th of January. Nice. And it's Advent calendar time, so let's get started with the tea Advent calendar and we'll see what's behind door number 20. They're all starting to open up there now. They do sort of get folded back in a little bit with the design of this Advent calendar, which is actually quite nice. But it does sometimes make it a little bit hard to spot where you go. Right, day 20. And what I mean by that is I used to look for the doors that weren't open yet, because you could see all the open ones. Okay, a bird and ben take on the classic English hood. Today we have treacle sponge. It does smell very treacly. It's a low caffeine, no milk, 80-degree water temperature, 3-minute brew time. Some teas, if you brew them at 100 degrees, they get a bit bitter because you're scorching the leaves. So green teas, for instance, quite often like cooler temperature. White teas sometimes like a cooler temperature. Black teas, fruit teas, rooibos teas, they can all be done at 100 degrees. I am obviously talking in Celsius or centigrade, whichever term you prefer. I don't understand Fahrenheit. We don't use it in the UK. So whereas I can switch quite happily between imperial and metric for most of the measurements, temperature, not a clue. So treacle sponge, I think I may have had it before, but I'm not 100% certain. Probably have a cup later because that smells delicious. So that's the tea Advent calendar. And let's move on to the Crafty Kit Company Advent calendar. It's an even numbered day, so that means it's a white package. It'll be this one here. Day 20. Ready for the rustling? Okay, so let's see what colour floof we've got today. Okay, so there's our little ball of starting felt that the cat is suddenly paying a lot of attention to from the sofa. It's normally not interested in anything fuzzy and woolly. Okay, so we've got white, pink, red, black, and this sort of olivey green. So let's grab the booklet and see what it is we're attempting to make today. I still haven't put a bookmark in here. Really should do that. There's the Arctic Fox. So with 5 sleeps to go, we have a mini pig in a blanket. If you're not sure what a pig in a blanket is, it is a sausage, or a little sausage, like a chipolata type sausage, or a cocktail sausage, depending on who's making it, wrapped in bacon. And it's a very firm favourite feature of our Christmas dinner. So yeah, pigs in blankets, sausages and bacon. I have heard some people refer to sausages in batter, like a whole dish of batter with sausages in, as pigs in blanket, but that's not pigs in blanket, that's toad in the hole. And if you have a bit of bread with an egg in it, that's egg in the nest. So I know those terms do sometimes get mixed up in places outside of the UK. But yeah, pig in blanket, sausage and bacon. Sausages in a whole dish of batter, toad in the hole, egg in bread roll, egg in the nest. If you live elsewhere and you use different terms, we'll need to look up and see which country invented the dish to work out who's right. So that's today's Advent calendars. Obviously, I'm at home all day today, which means I've got some chores to get done. And top tip, if you want to feel productive, put the laundry in the machine before breakfast That's great. It's already beeped. I just need to hang it out. So yeah, so I've got some chores to do. I'm hoping to get to the Dungarees today. So that might be this afternoon. I do also need to start working on the second sleeve of the cardigan. The first sleeve is completely done. I've worked out how to go from, because obviously I didn't do as many decreases as in the pattern because I was decreasing at a slower rate. So I had extra stitches before the cuff. So I worked out my rate of decrease for the last knit round before the ribbing. And what I actually did was I decreased to the stitch count above the size that I was knitting on. So there's a few different cuff stitch counts in the pattern, not as many as for the sizes in the pattern. So I had sort of the mid-range stitch count for this. It was what was listed for the size that I was knitting for the cuff, but I went for the largest cuff stitch count instead, so that I've got a little bit more room. I do find that when I cast off cuffs, I sometimes cast off a little on the tight side. So by going for a few extra stitches, I mean it literally is only a few extra stitches, we're not talking big numbers here, that will hopefully mean that when I push my sleeves up, I can do that without it digging in. And it also means that the bottom of the sleeve is not quite as poofy as it maybe would have been if I'd have gone for a smaller stitch count. But like I said, there's not a massive number of stitches different between the cuff sizes. So I now know what I'm doing for the second sleeve, so I need to get that done. It does knit up quite quickly. I'm unlikely to get a whole sleeve knit today unless I only do that as my making today. If I want to get some progress done on the dungarees, if I want to get some buttons made, if I want to get some progress made on the socks, that kind of thing, and get some housework done, then realistically I'm not going to get a whole sleeve knit today as well. Obviously priorities are the cardigan and the dungarees, because I would like to get them both finished. The cardigan so that I can wear it on Monday, which is obviously Christmas Day, and the dungarees, they've been going on for so long. It'd be really nice to get them finished and get their associated Minerva post up before Christmas, or at the very least in betwixtmas. So we'll try and get them finished this week. Whether that's today or whether it's another day, we'll see. Depends how long it takes me to do the housework today, which will be a lot quicker if I stop waffling to the camera. The other priority task for today is to wrap up the Christmas present for my dad and stepmom, because I need to arrange a time to get the gift to them, and it's a little pointless doing that, as in giving them the gift, if I haven't wrapped it, given that it's here. A different story if I'm posting it directly to them, because I can always blame the person who sent it, the company that's sending it. Oh, they must have forgotten to put the wrapping on. But no, if it's coming from my house, it needs to be wrapped. And I very sensibly bought an easy to wrap present rather than the usual impossible to wrap present that appears every Christmas. This is another reason for getting the place that you've bought your presents from to wrap them for you. You don't have to deal with the impossible to wrap gift, because there's always one. Always. Doesn't matter how careful you are about what you've picked, there will be a present that is a weird shape at Christmas. It's just a thing. There's going to be one. So yeah, I'm going to put this floof away, I'm going to hang out my laundry, wrap a present, and we'll go from there. I have literally just got up from the chair to take the camera off the tripod, and he's straight in the chair. This is a common occurrence. He'll jump in a seat as soon as someone gets out of it. Cats. Okay, so I'm working on the belt loops. I'm not wearing too much, about 100% accuracy. See, I'm getting them so that let's turn the fan off. Okay, so I'm working on the belt loops. I'm never actually going to put a belt on with these, I wouldn't have thought, because you've got buttons on the side. It'd just be awkward with a belt on dungarees. So I've got the front belt loops on, and I've made sure that they sort of line up visually, so they look right. I've measured them out according to the pattern, but if they're shifting in like a millimetre or whatever, I'm like, it's fine. You might remember I've bound the side seams in green bias tape, and when I turn up the cuffs, that's going to show on the outside. So I was thinking of ways to just tie that in a little bit, and I'm only going to do them one of the belt loops, but I've made a little green tab that I've just stitched on underneath that belt loop. So we've got a little flash there, and then we'll have a little flash at the ankles from the side seams, and that's good. That's enough for me to tie it in, I think. Then I can always add green top stitching or embroidery or a patch or something later on, but I think that's going to be enough just to tie the two together and make it look a bit more intentional when I turn the cuffs up, to have that flash of green there. So I'm going to carry on stitching on the back belt loops and stitching on this patch. And then I've just got the buttonholes, the buttons, the hems, the buckles for the straps, that kind of stuff to do. A good old press, and decide what I'm going to do about patches. I still haven't decided. Okay, so dungarees are done. I worked out what to do with the patch. We're going with a booby for the intellectuals. Fits fine. I'm going to see how the turn-ups do, because they are literally just turned up and pressed in place. But with this fabric, I don't know if they'll hold, so I might need to tack them in place later. I mean, otherwise, it's all good. So, we are approaching, I think, time for dinner. Let's move you around a little bit. So yeah, we're approaching time when I need to start getting dinner ready. So actually that's timed in quite nicely for getting the dungarees finished. I mean, the buttonholes are a hot mess, as they always are, but because there's a bit of stretch in this fabric and with the way they fit, I don't actually need to undo the buttons to take the dungarees off or put them on again, so it's fine. So yeah, so I need to get some photos done from Minerva Post on them. So I might do that tomorrow, get that written up and up. As long as it's done the next couple of days, it's fine. But yeah, I did skip the step where it had you undo the basting in the faux fly. There's no access through the fly because you top stitch down the decorative faux fly stitching, so I've no idea why they want you to open up the basting there, so I just left it in place. So I won't get any weird bagging on it down. I could have done with slightly shorter straps. I could have got away with going down a size on the bib, I think, or maybe shortening it slightly, but that's okay because it means I can layer underneath it, so that's not a problem. And yeah, the straps is not a problem. The buckle, the sliders are just going all the way up to the top of my shoulders, which is, you know, fine. It's not a problem. So yeah, so they're done. They're a good alternative to jeans for my wardrobe, and a good practice run for when I do eventually make jeans. But my goodness, oh, there's a lot of steps. I'm also not a fan of the hammering in buttons. They never seemed going quite right. But I don't think I can invest in a press for them because I don't do them often enough. But yeah, so we've got my B patch on the right boob, hence boobie. And we've got the can't touch it patch on the back. We've got a little flash of green bias tape under that button loop so that when the turn-ups, which I think, as I say, I am going to need to tack in place, that they're going to have that flash of green on the outside as well, so that ties in nicely. So yeah, all that's left to do now is to wear them for a couple of days and see what happens with those turn-ups. So yeah, because I'm happy to leave them as they are for the moment, and just tack them in later if I need to. Right, so on that note, I will leave it there and I'll see you tomorrow. But until then, happy crafting and bye-bye for now.